Okay, so Instagram is female porn.
I just spoke to a guy who was seeing multiple women and he wasn't happy with any of them. And the reason why he wasn't happy with any of them was because he noticed that their attention wasn't really on him. Their attention was scattered all over the place.
Yep, this is a very common idea in today's world. And before he gets into the video, just my quick thoughts on it. I've always said that a woman without social media, um, I think that's like the new high value woman, if you want to call it that, because I dated a girl that had no social media. I asked for her Instagram when I met her, and she said she didn't have one, and I was surprised. I got her number and started talking to her. It was so chill to be around her. She was so relaxed. It was like a different world, and I still remember her for that experience. I was with her for a few months, and it was very different to be with a girl like that versus being with a girl like he said, who are always on TikTok, always on Instagram, and they're like lab rats, bro. They can't put it down. It's incredibly addicting to them, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So hopefully there's some sort of trend where people start to put down the phones and especially social media, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
They were all, of course, on Instagram. They all had large social media followings. And he said when he went on dates with these women, they would be looking at their phones all the time. They'd be taking photos of everything, just trying to get likes and trying to get attention. And he was getting upset because they weren't really paying attention to him.
And it's kind of sad because it's hijacking women's desire to play into the social game, the social realm. That's what women prioritize is social status and things like that. These are evolutionary. This is evolutionary biology that causes women to be driven towards trying to gain social status and things like that, and it hijacks that for an app, which is totally fictional. It's not real at all. The social status climbing, it's all likes and BS. And if your profile gets deleted or blocked, people forget about you and start scrolling on the next one. It's not authentic connection at all. And yeah, in terms of dates and all that stuff, it's definitely worse. That's another reason why I recommend that guys don't, if you can, try to avoid long term girlfriends who you met on Tinder or a dating app. Because those women are more likely to be addicted to their phone. They're scrolling and swiping all day to try to find a boyfriend. So they're probably on their phones a lot. And, I think it's more ideal to find a woman who isn't so addicted to that, but that's obviously easier said than done.
He didn't feel like he was being respected. And this is something to be aware of for men. Men, because of our desire for sex, we will gravitate towards pornography. Men gravitate towards pornography. And in the same way, women gravitate towards Instagram because Instagram gives them what they need. Men get the simulation of sex through pornography. Women get validation from Instagram. And in a much more toxic way, women get even more validation from OnlyFans.
Oh, yeah, and that's the next level. I've always said that OF is the progression, the natural progression of what social media is. If women can make money selling their bodies on an OF, then they don't just get that idea from nowhere. And that really started from social media. And even Andrew Tate talked about it when he said in one of his videos, "You're already showing it on Instagram for free. You might as well just go on OF." And that's what a lot of girls already think is like, I'm already kind of halfway doing this. All these other girls on social media are doing it. It's become normalized. We saw the girl recently who just slept with 1,000 dudes, and it just like more and more normalizes degeneracy. And it all started with social media, bro. I don't think that society had this level of narcissism until social media enabled that. And so he's totally spot on, man. And for young men out there, I think it is pretty difficult to find a woman, even in these more, let's say, these less feminized countries where feminism hasn't taken over as much. It still is a problem. I mean, you guys can definitely chime in the comments if you're from one of these countries, but this is a global thing. So men are just going to have to get used to this or find the rare woman who was raised away from this.
But this really speaks to what women crave the most, and that is validation. Women want validation. They're desperate for validation and attention. Now, if a woman has too much validation and attention, it ruins the woman's mind. There's no two ways around it. It does damage a woman's brain. The same applies to men. If they look at too much porn, it has a damaging effect on the man. So this is why it's very important for men not to give women too much validation, because this is what they crave. But if they get what they want, they become spoiled. And you don't want to spoil women. You want to make women appreciate you. You want to make women respect you. You want to make women value your time and attention. You need to let women know that if they're not going to respect you, you're willing to cut them off and walk away and never see them again. You don't want to be giving a woman too much validation and attention over Instagram or social media, because then you stand out from all those other men who are giving.
And you know what? You stand out, but you want to be the guy that doesn't have to think about this. You're just living the life of a man who would not be her beta orbiter, as they say. You want to live as a man with purpose behind your action, with purpose behind the way you live your life, so that chasing some girl on Instagram just becomes meaningless to you. It doesn't matter. It's a natural byproduct of the way that you live your life. Instead of, this is like a tactic, you know. A lot of guys do that. Like, no, I'm just going to try to ignore her as a tactic, and then the girl doesn't care, and then now you get more depressed, and you call it, you're like an incel and all that. You got to start living your life with purpose, and that's kind of vague, but to quickly summarize what I mean by that, men need to think about what their ideal vision is. What is the ideal version of themselves that they want to create and they want to give to the world? And when you start to work towards that every day, you feel all the purpose you need. You know, whether that is being in shape for you, whether that's being wealthy, whether that's being charismatic. And, you know, you have these archetypes that you strive to become. When you think about those things on a deep level and you strive towards them every single day, you don't have to try not to DM the Instagram girl. You don't have to try not to watch porn. It's obvious by the way that you're living that that's not something that correlates with the goals that you want. So it's easy to say no to it. So don't apply these things as tactic, guys. Really try to apply the wisdom and knowledge so that you can start to become the man who naturally is this way, instead of having to force it through little games and tactics.
Giving women endless amounts of attention. And of course, when a woman gets attention from 1,000 guys, she's not going to respect it, she's not going to appreciate it, and she's certainly not going to respect those men. So this is something to think about. And if you want to know more about building real attraction with women, I highly recommend you get a copy of my book, Atomic Attraction. You can pick up your copy today by clicking on the link below. And don't forget, I do phone and email consultations. You can book a consultation with me on my...
Yeah, so totally spot on video. Let's just check the comments real quick. At this point in my life, I don't care about what women want or dating. I just care about my peace, my health, and eating a good steak. Yeah, you're seeing this over and over again, whether it's MGTOW, incel, whatever. And it doesn't have to be that way, but at the end of the day, the reality is that men want to be at peace. You know, we want to enjoy our lives, and we're hoping when we invite a woman into our life that she's adding peace to our life. You know, she's adding that balance, that stability, and not this chaotic energy. And yeah, this guy says, such a turnoff when they're constantly on their phones. Yeah, and I think it's a red flag. I think as soon as you see it, you know, mark that as a red flag, bro. And if she's good in other ways, maybe you can fix that. But I think most of the time that signals, you know, some deep insecurities or maybe some narcissism. Yeah, this guy says big companies like Meta and others are attention takers worldwide. It's sad that these companies have ruined our society for their self interest. We have identified ourselves according to people's thoughts and lost ourselves. This era is full of fake digitals, people, news, and illusions. I already lost the taste of what is real. There is a crisis for friendship, marriage, and life purpose. An existential vacuum is happening right now. Thanks, Chris, for telling us the truth. Yeah, very well said by this guy. And like I said, this is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just seen in the West, even though we like to say that it is. So, yeah, appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video. Check the link in the description for some of my free ebooks, and also, if you guys would like to book a one-on-one consultation with me, feel free to. See you guys in the next episode.